Your response to our video Q&A on shoes, liniments, and knee sleeves was so overwhelmingly positive that we decided to go ahead and do one on lifting belts as well. So as you can see behind me, I have a variety of different types of lifting belts. I'm going to go through each one of these and explain the features, the advantages, the disadvantages, etc. But first, you need to understand that the purpose of wearing a lifting belt is twofold. It's going to protect your lower back when used properly by offering stability and support and compression to your spine. And in doing so, when used properly, it can or may enable you to be able to lift more weight. But you really don't want to be enticed by the notion of lifting more weight if you haven't gotten stronger first. I really want to implore all the novice lifters out there with less than 2 to 3 years of training experience, don't put on the belt just yet. Shy away from that. Train raw. Train with nothing else but shorts and t-shirt and get stronger without all this stuff first. Get your body stronger. Learn proper form in all the major lifts. Refine your technique around your body's genetics for each of the lifts, etc. And just plain out get stronger. There are plenty of examples of very, very seasoned, successful, and experienced lifters who've yielded great results by holding off on the belts and training raw for much of their training career. Brad Gillingham comes to mind. He's one of the world's best lifters, and he does much of his training raw, saving the belt and the suits and the wraps almost for the end of the cycle. So if you are wearing gear as an advanced, intermediate lifter, etc., you may just want to use raw training as a segue into your geared training. But again, if you're a novice, hold off on the belts, get stronger first. They'll always be here, you can use them later. Without any other delay, I want to go through each one of these belts. The first belt here is made by Reband, which is the company that brings you the knee sleeves and so forth. This belt is very pliable. It's made out of neoprene. This belt is not going to offer a lot of support. This is more or less just for warmth in the lower back and compression. You can see that it fits around you. It's fastened by Velcro. You can make it a little bit tighter with these straps, etc. You'll see a lot of strongmen actually wear this beneath a power belt to offer just a little bit of more support. But again, this is not going to really add anything to your lifts. It's only going to provide you with some warmth and some compression. You'll see a lot of people actually warm up in this and then take it off before kind of graduating to a heavier belt. Mark Bartley from South Carolina Barbell, also known as Spud Inc., invented this belt. This is just a very pretty pliable belt here. It's made out of a softer material that gives. He actually developed this belt because when he was deadlifting, he kept getting pinched in the pelvis and the rib cage, and so he made this softer belt so that when you bend over in the deadlift, you're not going to get that pinching sensation. So this was also used with Velcro and offers probably a moderate amount of support when compared to some of these other belts. This is pretty much just a cheap, generic lifting belt that you can find in a Sports Authority or a Dick's. Notice how it's tapered. It's wider in the back and more narrow in the front. This is something that you would see a lot of people at a Gold's Gym or other fitness centers wearing. This is not going to offer you a tremendous amount of support, but you will see some people wearing these. For the powerlifters out there and strength athletes that are going to be training heavier, you ultimately probably want to go into a heavier belt, which I'm about to explain now. This is a powerlifting belt. It's a small one because it's Susie's, but you'll notice that it's tapered in the back, or I should say wide in the back to taper down in front. She wears that again because she's a smaller lifter and the thicker belts really don't, she doesn't accommodate the thicker belts too well, so she uses this one. But it is a much thicker, much more durable and supportive leather. Now we're getting into some of the more standard power belts here. This one is, you'll notice it is thick, it's very heavy, made out of cowhide leather, and it is the same width all the way around the belt. That's pretty important because you want, when investing in one of these belts, provided that you're not getting pinched and and you don't need a tapered one. If you get one that has the same width all the way around, it's going to provide you a good amount of support in the front as well as in the back. This has a single prong. Some people feel that that's a little bit easier, a little bit more convenient to get on and off. Frankly, that's just a matter of personal preference. I really don't see much of a difference in performance between a single prong and a two prong. It's really just up to you. Now we're getting into a two-prong belt. This is actually mine. It's made by a company called Cardio. I've had this for years. It's really soft, really pliable. Again, thick power belt, two prongs. And when you get a new belt, it's probably going to be pretty stiff. To break it in, lots of times what I'll do is fold my belt up like so, stick it underneath my mattress, leave it underneath the mattress for the day, then bend it, twist it, turn it, etc. Go ahead and put it under another way. You can stand on it, step on it, etc. The more that you use it, the more that you sweat in it, the more pliable it's going to become. This right here is a lever belt. This is what I use in competition when I'm wearing gear. You'll see a lot of powerlifters use these. It comes on and off really easily. It's really quick. You just lock that in there like that, and then you just pull the lever back. So this is nice, it gets really super tight, and then when you hit your lift and you're done, you just pop it off, it comes right off. So it's easy on and off. This again is thick, same width all the way around, extremely supportive. The only drawback to a belt like this is they're not easily adjustable. You need a screwdriver to get this one on and off. So that's a bit of a pain, but I've worn this belt all the way from the mid 190s all the way up to about 230 pounds. So this has been a pretty valuable tool in my arsenal. Last but not least, this is a specialty belt, also a lever belt. This actually was designed by Safe. I believe that Titan sells it. You'll notice that it's wider up front, and then it gets tapered in the back. A lot of people use this when benching with bench press shirt, and the theory is that the thicker width up front is going to hold the shirt in place, while the thinner, more narrow part of the back is going to enable you to arch more. So again, this is just a specialty belt. You really wouldn't want to wear these for the other lifts. So there you have it. There's a variety of belts that you can choose, a variety of belts that you can have in your arsenal. Some lifters will have 2 or 3 belts, but the bottom line is you have to know how to use one. When you put on a belt, you do not want to suck in your stomach or suck in your gut and actually make your torso smaller. In effect, what you want to do is inhale, take in air through your nose, sometimes through your mouth, and actually make your chest cavity and your stomach and this entire trunk thicker and bigger. And by doing that, by inhaling and then pushing your abdominals out like that, by tightening your torso and pushing against the belt, that's what's going to increase the intra-abdominal pressure, pressure throughout your spine, etc., and offer support. Belts, along with knee wraps, any type of gear, you don't want to use a crutch. Take a tip from our Olympic weightlifters who don't use belts very often because they get in the way and they're plenty strong without them. So again, if you turn to a belt, use it later on in your lifting career, or use it just for your heaviest lifts. Don't use it on your warm-up sets.